Hello everybody. So, as you can see, I'm on Amazon.com. Why? I'm going to show you some add-on cards you can get. So, the first one will be SATA to IDE adapter. What this adapter is used for, this one mostly, there's several different ones you can get. What this does is it goes on the back of here, so it allows you to use your SATA hard drive on a motherboard that only supports IDE. So your Molex connection goes in here, your 40-pin IDE line goes in here, and this is what the board looks like. So basically, on your post screen, it'll say SATA, and this is the voltage regulators on the board itself. So now there's several different ones you can get. Some are cheap as obviously $7, and then there's an external one which I have. I have this one just in case I have to pull a hard drive out of a computer and test it for whatever reason. There's this one. They have USB 3.0 stuff. And obviously this, and yeah, there are 5.5-inch hard drives, which are fairly uncommon these days. Then you have this one and this one. I have one I got at our Fry's. The one I have the cursor on right now. Now there's this, and what this is it's SD card to SATA adapter. The problem is you can't just install Windows on an SD card. If you have the factory SD card ports, it will not work because the board, which is like this, the firmware in it won't allow it to happen. So you have to get something like this. So basically what happens is your data cable, which is 7 pins, and this is 14 pin, and you have the SD card slot here. So basically what happens is your computer thinks it's talking to a real hard drive. So basically the computer sends its data saying, oh, you're a hard drive, and then however converts it from in here so the SD card can read it. And you have this one, you have the external one, you have something like this. This is really cool. This is 4 SATA ports. It's PCI Express. I can tell by looking at the connections. And basically, let's say you need 8 SATA ports, but your board only contains 4. So you buy something like this and stick it in the PCI Express slot, you have more ports. So they make adapters for almost anything now. And this is for RAID stuff. And what's nice about this is obviously you have all these here. These are SD card slots. So you can create an array using this board right here. Your RAID 1, there's RAID 0, which is a single, RAID 1, and there's RAID 5. So you have these adapters. So you can install Windows on an SD card. You have to get the adapters for it. And then I have something like this. I try to install it, on something like this, but it will not work because it's not made for it. And then that's your USB stuff. And then the PCIe card, which is Express, the 2 SATA. So there's adapters for everything. So and then you got these. This is a PCI. What this is originally used for, if you have an old printer, and I had an old HP 8 desk LaserJet, yeah, LaserJet, and it uses the LPT1 port, which is DB25, which is also used for, that's actually how they used to hook up lights for Step Mini until Mini Made USB came out. So you have an old printer, you have a newer computer, and you want to use your old printer because you love it so much. You get something like this, plug it in, and you don't, somebody who's been in the business for a while may tell you, hey, you have to install the driver before you install that. Well, that doesn't make sense because you have to turn the computer on, then you have to turn it off. So what you do is you install the card, let Windows install the generic driver, then you install the driver that came with it. Or it might tell you to go to the website and get it. So there's an adapter for that. And there's also SCSI adapters too that you can get, which I'll show you. And I like Amazon because I got a lot of stuff. I ordered a SD card to SATA card slot adapter card to SATA, so that way I can install Windows on an SD card, which I'll have a video when I get it. And then you have something that's USB to that, which means the firmware's in here, which means when you plug it in, it pulls the firmware from right in here. Sometimes stuff comes with the disk. Sometimes you have to go to a website. That's cool. This is for the printer itself. And the little interface port expansion card for PCI, which means it's PCI, so it'll tell you right on here. These are a little expensive because they're older. And these are COM ports. These are DB9. And these are serial. And I have a mouse that will actually hook into these. USB are serial too, so it's DB25, that's your DB9, and that's your DB25. DB15 is VGA. And you have the high-speed parallel port stuff. And what's cool about these are SCSI. This is Small Computer Systems Interface. A lot of the stuff. Then you have eSATA, which is external SATA. These were supposed to be used like USB ports, but nothing was hot swappable for that. I have a case with it on there, but I never used it. That's a graphics card. It's USB 3.0. Then you have the SCSI interface like this. And basically you can build anything using adapters. So the SD card reader to SATA. So the cool thing about this is you're building a computer, you're flat broke, and you literally only have 20 bucks to spend on parts. But you have a couple 128 gig SD cards lying around. They do make one that contains 4 SD card slots, and it's like this. Alright, so 128 plus 128, so that's 240. So that's roughly 370. You'll have basically a 370 gig SSD hard drive. Then when you get some money, you go get the right parts. So there is one that has 4. This is it. It's within the 2.5-inch housing, which means basically it's a laptop. So I could put this in a laptop. So you have your 8 gig. And yes, they do make 8 gig SD cards, but a lot of devices that I like to use the maximum that I can get. So this is 8816. That's 24. So 32 gigs. So technically you would have, with these 8 gig SD cards, you would have a 32 gigabit SATA, a solid state SATA hard drive. So if you put a bunch of, if you put 4 128 gigs in there, you'll have a basically a 370 gig solid state hard drive. So you could build stuff on the cheap. You could do other stuff. You could do trick stuff. And basically, what's nice is you could build it. You could add stuff to what you need. So if you need, let's say you're building it for one computer and you're saving your money to get, let's say, a terabyte hard drive, and let's say you pull this out and put it into another computer and you only need 16 gigs, you just pull 2 of the cards out and you're good. So that's how this works. It has the SATA pins, and all the information takes place. All the, you're talking to this, that talking to the devices itself takes place on the board. Then you have this, and that's kind of cool. Then you have these. As I stated before, you cannot install Windows directly onto an SD card. You have to buy one of those adapters. Now the one that I got, I only paid $3 for right now. It's this one right here. Now I don't know how long this is going on, but as this video is being shot, I got this one for $3. That was it. So I got that, and there's pretty much adapters for anything, and it's really cool. So then you have some like this that are on the front. It's it's a 4-port SD card ports to SATA. So technically you can build your own solid state drive using these. And then, the SCSI stuff is that. So that's pretty much it for this video. So hope you guys liked it. Please comment, like, subscribe. Thank you for watching.